Hello, my name is David Strube, and this is my presentation for Milestone 3 of the term project for CS6795, Introduction to Cognitive Science. For this project, I chose to do a literature review focusing on the Turing test with the intent to explore the following research question. What are the limits of the Turing test regarding consciousness in artificial intelligence? First described by Alan Turing in 1950, it works like this. Player C, the interrogator, is given the task of trying to determine which player, A or B, is a computer and which is a human. The interrogator is limited to using the responses to written questions to make the determination. Here are my findings. First, the Turing test was not originally designed to be a test for consciousness. Instead, it was intended to be a test for computational intelligence. For any artificial intelligence to be considered conscious, it would have to understand the physical actions of others. This relates to this slide from Lesson 9, which shows that consciousness has both objective and subjective aspects. Cognitive scientists like Gary Marcus proposed a sort of Turing Olympics. For example, the Allen Institute for Artificial Intelligence, AI2's, Allen AI Science Challenge, that would explore AI in several various ways like robotics and natural language processing. Giving a Turing test to any large language model tends to yield a mirror that reflects the intelligence of the interviewer and not that of the AI. This paper referred to Blake Lemoine as an example, the software engineer who worked for Google until he mistakenly concluded that Lambda, the LLM he interviewed, was sentient and deserving of personhood. It is interesting to note that he came to this conclusion after priming the LLM with leading questions that biased it into giving him misleading answers. Next, the Turing test has been used as a model to confirm consciousness in humans where consciousness was not certain, specifically people in a persistent vegetative state. Moravec's paradox states that things that are easy for humans, like visual processing, are hard for machines, and things that are hard for humans, like multiplying 5-digit numbers, are easy for machines. This is an important difference to keep in mind when we ask ourselves questions like, how should we judge whether or not a machine is conscious? Next, for AI to pass the Turing test means being indistinguishable from a human, which requires perfectly imitating a human's flaws and does not necessarily mean being intelligent or conscious. Another interesting paper was one that discussed how a hypothetical humongous table program with a database of convincing answers to any question it would be asked in a Turing test would pass the test, but clearly would not be conscious. Similarly, another paper pointed out that some aspects of human consciousness and cognition seem incompatible with AI research. The Chinese room thought experiment by John Searle illustrates how being able to respond to questions like those in a Turing test doesn't equal intelligence or consciousness. What does all this imply? First and foremost, it may be that no AI will ever consistently pass the Turing test, but that doesn't mean no AI will ever display signs of consciousness, given that the Turing test doesn't necessarily indicate consciousness. There is some debate as to whether the Turing test is at all useful in exploring consciousness in AI. If it is useful, it is only as a starting point and not what to focus on. The physical embodiment requirement for AI to display signs of consciousness implies that AI would have to have at least a rough approximation of a theory of mind in order to truly possess consciousness. Given that theory of mind is a subjective experience, it may require better understanding by cognitive scientists before more progress can be made in the direction of AI with consciousness. With the exception of the original source material, published in 1950, the literature reviewed for this project was restricted to scientific papers, books, and peer-reviewed articles from 2009 and newer. In conclusion, any future efforts regarding the Turing test should take into account current cognitive science theories of consciousness before attempting further research into the possibilities of consciousness in artificial intelligence. Here are the references for the works cited in the presentation, and here is the task list updated. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on ed or via email. Thank you for your time.